Yes, hello. This is Chad Prunto coming to you live from Copley Square, right in front of the Hancock Tower, which I'm clearly here in front of. Actually, this is taken on New Year's Eve when I surprisingly went back to. I took one last look at Boston, or so I thought, on the 30th before 2024 and everything burns. But surprisingly, we did have a very, very quick outing, and Copley Square. The one good thing about everything having been moved to City Hall this year is that Copley Square and like the whole street of Boylston was almost completely relatively barren. I'm gonna say we actually parked um, right almost like one block away from the Dartmouth and the CVS, like where the whole Copley Square area is, and we were able to see the fireworks from there too, which was crazy. So, and I took this shot before we left at the end of the night, but after we had some food, illegal seafood. So I missed the protests, which I'm sure I know they were around in Times Square and they were trying to shut things down. Unfortunately, the satanic powers of Dick Clark, as inherited by Ryan Seacrest, they're too powerful, and I didn't see them on TV. But anyway, we have a new year. We have
Yay.
2024. Good Christ. Okay. Well, I am as excited as anyone to see how this year turns out. I mean, they let you make your own TikTok videos where you can set up templates where you put in like 23 pictures to somehow 2023. I put out a TikTok video and it was 23 photos of dumpster fires. So let's hope I won't need a 24th for next year, because holy hell. Anyway, thank you guys very much for joining us tonight. By us, I mean me and my lonely John Hancock behind me. Okay, that didn't sound good. I'm just going to move on. We're walking. This is the first all open mic. Next week, our feature is going to be somebody I'll introduce later on as part of the open mic. Oh, intrigue. Let's move on. And more poets are going to be announced. More books have come out in the last couple of months or even weeks. Another poet, Margaret Young, just announced the release of her book From Main Street Rag, and I might put a link to it tomorrow. It's on sale for almost half off, $7.50, and that's based on what people buy. That's going to determine the print run, from what I understand. So she is encouraging early buys from Main Street Rag Press, and Main Street Rag is has been around for, God, I say at least 20 years. They put out a lot of various books of fiction and poetry, and I'm hoping Margaret Young joins us sometime in March. Jamelia Van Dyke Bailey might join us this month or might join us next month. And we have several other people who have been part of Stone Soup's open mic before that have come out with books. Some of them have featured, and they're coming out with their first full-length published book ever. So I'm very excited about that. And we are so we are going and having good thoughts for the future. Thank you guys for coming. The Ramdonator 5000 has made the choice for who goes on first, and he must know he's on first because he's the only one unmuted, besides me, because I have to talk. So let us welcome up for our first part of our round robin. Let's welcome up Mr. Ken Johnson.
I'm on there. I didn't prepare any poem tonight. I don't know where you're getting this list.
The
Yeah,
Ramdonator 5000 just picks
myself.
the names. Just picks the names. If you got to say like not me, but okay, we will. If you don't want to read, we got no problems with
Next
that.
open mic night, I'll prepare something for you.
Sounds good.
Sorry.
No worries. All right, so let's go now to well, let's start off with a preview. Let's go to Mr. Robert Fleming, who will be featuring his new book that came out just late last year, early this year, as in next week on the 10th of January. Mr. Fleming, sir.
Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming.
Oh, you're going to need, sorry to interrupt, but you're going to need screen share, right?
Yes, please.
Okay, give me 10 seconds.
Okay. I'm a visual poet from Lewis, Delaware, and I'm excited to share that my visual poetry book, White Noir, is an Amazon bestseller. On January 2nd, it peaked at the book rank of 34 in its category. And what I'm going to share again, we're going to do some skits. And tonight's skit, the two characters are Hamlet from William Shakespeare's play, set in a modern time where Hamlet is driving through a window to pick up food. So we have the two characters, the order taker and Hamlet. And Bill, which one of the two would you like to be? Bill, you need to unmute.
I'm getting worried. I mean, I'm nervous. I have to make a decision. I mean, these are both great. Ghost eats the invisible burger. That's a good no. Ghost. Okay, I got to do Hamlet. I would love to be Hammy. Yeah, I want if I yes.
Okay. And who would like to be the order taker at the takeout window?
I can do it, Robert.
Terrific. So it starts off with the order taker. It's called Hamlet at the drive-through window.
Number?
My uncle killed my father.
Number one, killers like hamburgers.
Two number ones. My father was a cuckold.
Number three, the cheated like the fried chicken basket.
One number three. My mother cheated on my uncle.
Number two, cheaters like cheeseburgers.
One number two. Ophelia scrubs pots.
Number six, obsessive compulsives like the chicken sandwich hold the sauce.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Two number sixes. Claudius feces. Fences.
Number nine, fencers like Cajun fries.
Stop making me laugh, damn it. Two number nines. To eat or not to eat.
Number five, indecisives like the sampler.
No! A ghost told me who killed my father!
Number four, ghosts eat the invisible burger.
Two number fours. Done.
Drive through, your order will be ready for your next family murders.
Thank you.
Bravo! Bravo! Author! Woo! Speech! Speech!
Thank you. Thank you. And
This
this
is
is where-
supposed to have an undertaker. I was totally misled with this. Oh well, that's okay. I'm not mad. Thank you, Robert, and be sure to be here next week for his first full-length feature at Stone Soup Eva. And now, let's welcome up next someone who I'm glad got here earlier. I usually feature him last, but I'm always glad to feature him earlier. We had a lot of fun. Or I should say, he was part of the fun that was the Christmas Wars last month or last year. He was one of the funnier entries that we couldn't say we couldn't say live on a podcast for fear of reprimand. Let's welcome up Mr. Brian Franco.
Gracias. Okay. Well, thank you for all those wonderful words. Mr. Parento, I always look at your thing. I want to say Partino. I want to just switch the order of the letters around. It's hard to remember what actually is.
Funny thing is, I think that's what they put for my bio in the Descent anthology. I think they spelled it that way.
I always have to look to make sure I'm pronouncing people's names right. Okay. So this is called Clash Pit. This poem was born of afterbirth from a dream, a Lazarus pit which was once a pearlescent ocean of human being fear. People who look in mirrors with eyes wide open while pretending to be blind, while witnessing everything they never wanted to see about themselves. They lie about the color of their irises as if flowers can choose what colors their petals will display. Before the days of dating apps when people had to describe who they were as if life was a poem in a personal ad wedged between help wanted and real estate listings, newsprint paper printed with ink that smelled of burning paraffin, wafting into olfactory senses with verbal pheromones like, I like long walks on the beach, the premise of many early rom-coms. Before the days of keyboards and laptops, people would construct these messages with pen and paper, often re-editing and re-editing like a poet submitting the same poem to multiple journals, getting rejected and rejected and rejected. This was before people walked into businesses and strip malls to make videos in front of fake backgrounds, to verbalize what they might write in a personal ad with faces and TJ Maxx wardrobes front and center. The scripts for such screenplays should be rife with what they feel they can get away with saying, which would likely be a fantasy versions of their existences for audiences of strangers who wrote and performed their own Oscar-worthy scripts, hoping for an afternoon at a coffee house, which might lead to a dinner at a bistro, which might lead to how about a nightcap, or your place or mine, or oops, it's the morning after, or should I stay or should I go? Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? If I stay, there will be trouble. And if I go, there will be trouble. And if I stay, it will be double. Lies are sleep wiped from eyes and hastily made decisions, and tears rolling down cheeks, dripping into bathroom sinks before a single tooth is brushed with an index finger. The rush of water exiting the faucet sounds like a waterfall crashing upon a psyche. This puree of crime swirls down the drain, through the water system, spilling into a Lazarus pit of anything, everything, and nothing, while the perp stands at the edge, deciding to dip a toe into something that might help to achieve something that might resemble immortality. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Brian. I'm sorry, Generalissimo. You need to have your target dog have a few medals on it with a nickname like Generalissimo. Is your open mic still going on every Monday?
I'm sorry, it's the first and third Monday of every month.
First and third Monday, okay.
Yeah, but I did not have it this Monday because I forgot and went to see The Color Purple instead, which was a very good movie. And then that night, after I finished my online open mics, I found the old movie for free somewhere online because I had never seen the old movie before.
The one with Whoopi Goldberg in it?
The one with Whoopi Goldberg. And I would say that I think that Whoopi is very proud of Fantasia. This Fantasia actually, she's a very good singer, but she was a good actress too. I hope Fantasia does more acting, and I hope she does straight act, without the musicals. I think that she has a future.
Cool. Thanks for the mini review. We were gonna check out American Fiction until we got sick, but we'll have to put that on our list, my girlfriend and I. But okay, we are trying to talk as much as I can without coughing or saying anyway, let's go now to Miss Jan Rowe.
This is Overcoming Fear. It was in the weekly for the Black Seed, the first draft, and I did another draft. My mom learned to drive in her 60s. She had been afraid to learn. However, my dad was starting to sideswipe parked cars and not stop. It was the passenger's side that was scraping the parked cars. She was sitting on the passenger side. Dad was rather reckless before this. Early mornings, old Route 40, just 2 lanes to Uniontown, Southwest PA. Dad to his job printing that he loved, and me, a student teaching in 9th grade with my uncooperating teacher, an assistant principal who paddled students. Dad passed dangerously on the old two-lane Route 40. I would be on the passenger side, braking and accelerating. Now, not necessary to travel the old roads as dual highways finally open. But too late. All the roads, new and old, are empty as steel mills among the 50,000 companies leaving this country in search of pay and lower wages and ease of pollution. Far, far fewer river coal barges, 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. My grandma Della was a cook on these, and my Uncle Jack, the youngest captain on the Monongahela River. Final ferry of over 20 ferries closed on that river. Look way up there at that empty toll bridge. Mom did fail the driver's test several times, but finally passed after we got her driving lessons. Once I was going with her to fail a driver's test, and the weather was so bad, so much snow in southwestern PA, that school would have been canceled in Delaware, where I was teaching a dozen years of public high school. Mom was more afraid of the test, not the dangerous weather. Thank you. I like this piece.
I liked it too.
That was wonderful. Oh, that was so fascinating. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I toast you with my hot chocolate. I'm drinking hot chocolate because I'm out in the middle of fucking Copley. Anyway,
Oh,
actually, it wasn't that bad when I was walking home to part of the way tonight. Anyway, let's go to Nancy Dodson, who I'll ask to unmute, our one phone participant. I was informed by John Galloway, incidentally, that Carol is away visiting relatives, so hopefully we'll see her next week. But I'm glad we have Nancy this week. Nancy?
Feeling beauty. Oh, magnificent cat, I look and look. You are a marvelous kitty. So pretty. Stunning brown, beige, and white, like a Himalayan. You are a warrior. You be alone on the streets of Cambridge. The will to steal you is there. The driven car could run you down. Oh, expensive one, you must have had an owner. Why did he let you out alone? You should have a collar and a lead. It has been a long, long time since I saw you. Come quickly to my sight. I pray that you're alive, for I want you for myself.
Locking a lot. Thank you, Nancy. Stay tuned for stay around for the second round. I'll lock it a lot. Okay. And the Ramninator 5000 has chosen Bill Lewis, who must have known that because he just unmuted himself.
La 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 la.
Mr. Bill, you're on.
La 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 la. Oh, thank you, Chad. I didn't know. You caught me off guard. I am just so surprised. What, little me? You want me to come? Okay. I'm very excited for 2024. The future is great, and future's going to be so bright you need sunglasses. I would like to tell you the story of a friend of mine. It is Iraq, 1990, whatever. He is a mechanic in one of the battalions there. And he is at mess hall one day. There are the soldiers sitting alone crying, and everybody is avoiding her. I mean, it's hard enough over there without just breaking down into tears, but Ezra sits down and says, "What's up?" And she was going through panics because her team was out the next day in a Hummer, and there had been attacks, no surprise. And a Hummer should not be a frontline vehicle, have no armor, it just goes, and she was crying, just panicking about this, that she was going to be out there. And so Ezra says, look, there is a boneyard of broken down vehicles out there. I can grab a couple of armor panels. I can weld them to your doors. She is overjoyed. A few days later, another team comes in and said, "We saw what you did, and could you?" And he does another one, and another one, and two more, and he's beginning to get a line of Humvee teams looking for armored doors, which is totally not in his job description. So he's doing this all after hours until the top brass find out and give him hell. Misuse of military equipment, blah, blah, blah. You can imagine 2 weeks solitary confinement, bread and water. Donald Rumsfeld comes to Iraq for a staged press conference, among other things. The various soldiers are given questions to read that he would like to answer. One of the soldiers tears up his question and says, "Why don't we have armor on our Humvees?" Donald Rumsfeld says, "You go to war with the armor you have, not the armor you want." Which, of course, militarily speaking, is an honest statement. He comes back to the States and he starts getting heat from the families of people who have had members killed and injured in Humvees, talking about the armored Humvees that Ezra has been building. They send a lieutenant into his confinement headquarters and says, "We need you to do more of them." Ezra punches him out, knocks him out cold. They drag Lieutenant away. They send in a captain. He kicks the captain in the knee and screams at him. They send in a bird colonel. Now Ezra is like, "Oh, wait, whoa, a colonel. Okay, this is," and the colonel explains a little bit more rationally that, "Yeah, we saw what happened. Yeah, there's a bunch of shit that goes on in the army, but what you did saved lives. We need you to lead the way and do more of this. How many men do you need?" Ezra would like to have 60 welders. They don't have any welders in Iraq. They don't have any welding equipment in Iraq, but he will give him 60 mechanics to turn into welders. And he says, "Well, we need some equipment." Well, Kuwait City has plenty of equipment. Here's a credit card. He takes a couple of trucks, drives into the central place where they do all this welding stuff, walks up to the counter with a bunch of soldiers and says, "I want everything." The guy behind the counter freaked out. All these American soldiers said, no, okay, just take it. No, we want this. And Ezra, no, puts down the credit card. $4.5 million on a credit card. He takes the equipment back, and they spend the next months welding armor onto Humvees. And for the rest of the war, the amount of armor on Humvees went up, and the number of people being killed and injured in Humvees went down. And that is my nephew-in-law, the husband of my niece. And when we were just visiting there a few weeks ago, he told me that story, and I thought that that was fascinating. And I wanted to share it with you all.
Thank you, Bill. Up next, let's welcome up Mr. John Wizek.
Thank you, Jed. Welcome to Courting Disaster, the dating show where there's always a little danger. Tonight, our bachelorette will choose from among a millionaire An ordinary Joe and a serial killer. I'm your host, Chet Carabiner. Let's meet our contestants. Bachelor number 1 lost his middle management job when a microservice architecture replaced him. Since then, he's driven a rideshare while struggling to pay child support. Please welcome Jason Turnbuckle. A burly guy in a plaid shirt, leather vest, and trucker hat nodded to the camera. Known as the Snake River Strangler, Bachelor number 2 got his start torturing small animals and worked his way up to sex workers. Wanted in 3 states for 29 murders. Please welcome Harley Slaughter. A pale man with thin lips gave a thumbs up. Bachelor number 3 made his fortune in microservice architectures after selling his tech startup for a reported 8 figures all the way from Palo Alto. Please welcome Elliot Eprom. A man in a black turtleneck looked up from trimming his fingernails. To keep our bachelorette from hearing the introductions, she's been isolated backstage in a soundproof booth. She's a marketing intern at Dewey Leave It Alone, whose vegetarian lasagna is to die for, all the way from Puyallup, Washington. Please welcome Stephanie Albright. A brunette in a powder blue blazer walked on stage. Stephanie, what's the secret to your lasagna? Dried figs and the tomato sauce. Now, Stephanie, our 3 bachelors are hidden behind the screen. One is a millionaire, one is an ordinary Joe, and the third is a psychopath who stuffs his victims and leaves them posed as the men's hockey team from the 1980 Winter Olympics at Lake Placid. You'll have 10 minutes to ask a series of questions to choose which will be your date. Bachelors, say hello to Stephanie. I'll drive you to paradise, Stephanie. Looking forward to a killer date, Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie. I value your company. Bachelor number 1. What's your favorite Olympic sport? Stephanie asked. Watching figure skating on TV with you by my side while we eat my homemade carbonara. Bachelor number 2. Luge. Bachelor number 2. What is bachelor number 1's best quality? Even though he buys carbonara at a discount store, he boils the noodles himself. Bachelor number 3, what is bachelor number 2's best quality? Nothing will stop him from attaining success. Bachelor number 3, imagine we're 16 years old and that you're asking my dad for permission to date me. What will you say to him? In the dating market, perception matters more than price to earnings ratio, just like in the NASDAQ. I'll raise your daughter's market value so investors will benefit at her initial public offering. Bachelor number 2. After she dates me, she'll never want for anything. A bell rang and the host interrupted. Time's up, Stephanie. We'll hear your decision after this commercial break. And we'll finish the rest of the story after this commercial break, after this poetry break, and in the next round. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Loving it. Let's to close out this first round robin. Let's welcome up Mr. James Van Looy.
Hi, Chad. So I have here, this is another one of my poems about translating my great-grandfather's cousin. Every day, I translate my great-grandfather's cousin, Jacobus Van Looy, immersing myself deep for over 3 years now in mid-19th century, 1860 to 1877, during the 1848 world crisis that began with revolutions all over Europe, demanding parliamentary governments, ending with Germany and Italy becoming nation states instead of squabbling, bitterly fighting principalities and kingdoms, the Vatican losing the papal states, and Bismarck launching the Social Security to foreclose a future Paris Commune, the US ending slavery, Tsarist Russia abolishing serfdom, and Mexico defeating European imperialism. And my great-grandfather was in the Hussars, a new cavalry unit that later was used as strike breakers in the early 20th century when my grandparents migrated to America, where my great-uncle Willem was already in Braddock, Pennsylvania, working at Westinghouse, where they made the automatic air brakes that made it possible to stop a train of cars without having people in between the jolting wagons to mechanical apply the brakes. And when my grandparents arrived, she was already pregnant with my twin uncles. And Johannes went to work at the Westinghouse, and in family story, celebrated his first paycheck by getting drunk in Braddock, coming home, remainder of pay in hand, saying how he had done it. And those twin uncles, so much older and more foreboding than my own quite grim enough dad, turned out in my great aunt's stories of life in odd years industrial America, right next door to Pittsburgh, super clean Dutch lady washing the coal dust away off walls and curtains every day, while my uncles were original cats and jammer kids of disassembling the brass rug rods on the hallway steps and tearing up all the onion sets in the backyard garden, who became the absolute huge picture of middle-class respectability, judging always every action and painfully so aware of each edict called "What are they doing and wearing this year?" that might seem so like last year, except look at all those new styles somehow cascading, avalation down upon us, buried in what was already existed, too much of all the wrong things. Materialism so blatant Protestant Puritan could not preach materialism, this materialism that when the whole machine was set up to cry, buy, get yours now, but now was somewhere else, always somewhere else. And I was upstairs in 1101 Main Street, Essicle, Michigan, 48732, a big corner lot, big trees on both sides, with a headphone to my ear, and my fingers probing the crystal on my shop-made radio, picking up signals from the stratosphere late into the night, hearing global voices and music of the spheres, multicultural, interstellar, galactic filaments and energy, dark and otherwise, everything spreading out everywhere at once, somehow still manages to come together and pass on and continue to exist. I think, therefore I am just alive, breathing, symbiotic rhythm of tide and season. And here's a quick song. I'll be seeing you in all the old familiar places that this heart of mine embraces all day through. In that small cafe, the park across the way, the children's carousel, the chestnut trees, the wishing well. I'll be seeing you in every lovely summer day, in everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and when the night is new, I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
Thank you, Mr. James
Thank
Van
you.
Loy. Be on the lookout for his column this coming Thursday, which is to say tomorrow. It's all one thing at allballmagazine.com. We just started posting for the new year on January 1st, and did our first selection of Wednesday specials for poetry and featured art and photography. and I hope you check it out. More good stuff is coming. Previously featured Stone Super Jackie Oldham is up there right now at the top of the page. But enough of that. I was hoping we could get her here today, but for now, let's continue on with the poets we have, not with the poets we wish would join us. That's good enough. Let's welcome up. See what I did? You saw that. You understood that reference. Let's go to Mr. Robert Fleming to start off the second round. And you should have sharing privileges.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Robert Fleming, and anytime I do a feature or I book a feature, I do promotional flyers and check in with the host. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to show the promotional materials and just get a thumbs up or thumbs down from Chad. This is the first one. And the way I came to this, I was thinking about soup. I immediately went to the Shakespeare play Macbeth with the witches. So Chad, are you okay with this one?
Sorry, that's good. I get a chuckle out of it.
Okay, good. So you're good with that.
I got the Macbeth reference, yes.
Okay, I'm just doing a check-in with you.
When shall we three meet again? Wednesday? Okay.
And this one is at Walden Pond.
I like it.
Cool.
That might be, but if you can give these to me as JPEGs, I'll start posting them right away. These are hilarious.
Okay, so I'll need to send them to you as a JPEG.
If you could.
Okay. And
Okay, you did a deep dive on my photo. You did a deep dive on my photo collection. Well done.
So this is at the Charles River in Cambridge.
Yes.
Oh, great. I'm glad you like them, and I will go ahead
And that's me from my childhood back in my 40s. So yes.
Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next week as the feature.
All right, that was a crack up. Okay. Again, laughing is hazardous to my throat. Let's welcome up next, Mr. Brian Franco. One more time.
Skip over me. I have to pull something else up. I don't have something pulled up.
Okay, no problem. Then we'll go to Jan. Jan, you must be ready.
Go ahead.
Okay, I think they're putting together some writings at the cathedral again. And this is like a second draft. Think on Wet Things, which is a reference to scripture. So Christmas canceled in Bethlehem. What with the checkpoints, Archbishop Desmond Tutu found them similar to what he endured in South Africa and attributed the behavior to fearful youth. Tutu was not allowed by South Africa to become a teacher as his father had been. Desmond Tutu might have been less of a bother to South Africa as a teacher than as an archbishop. Jesus in a manger under the rubble. Today on Democracy Now!, an unconscious toddler being unburied by human hands removing the rocks. No heavy-duty machinery in sight, no fuel anyway. Who's taking all the water? We need beauty and healing, phosphorescence. In southwestern Pennsylvania or western Maryland, Ohio, Powell State Park on the Youghiogheny River has walk-in campsites, no vehicles. My initial concern about having no flashlight, not necessary. The ground glowed. The path clearly delineated. The sky, stars glowed also, no light pollution. Couple years later, Eastern Shore, Maryland, outside Centerville, maybe Land's End Road, just after sunset, Bluegrass Festival down by the river that eventually flows into the Chesapeake Bay. I am in the Chester River and notice as I move my arm, phosphorescent drops of river water arc. Thank you.
Thank you, Jan. Nice stuff this week. And is Mr. Frank, if Mr. Franco's ready, he can go. Otherwise, I can go to Nancy Dodson. All right, I'll go to Nancy Dodson. Miss Dodson, if you want to unmute yourself. There you go.
A walk in solitude. New moons create a small crescent. A star lights up the sky. A light proceeds along the pathway. A dog statue appears before me. A dog barks, but I stay on the path. Solitude breeds delight. Joy envelops my soul. Alone.
Thank you, Nancy. And now if to give Brian some more time, we're going to go to Bill Lewis, who is now able to share the screen as well.
Super duper duper! Yay! As you know, I am teaching high school over Zoom and I love it. There's nothing that makes me so happy as working with kids and teaching. Just anything with kids is just my happy spot. And so I was teaching computer science, of course, fairly advanced class really for high school, very advanced class for high school. Anyway, I show part of a video that I produced when I was at Stanford about a topic called garbage collection in computer science. So it's this technical thing, it's not important. Well, it is important, but not for this purpose. So I do some technical stuff, and then I have the amusing interlude with human beings talking about the technical stuff, and then more technical stuff. So we are going to watch one of my amusing interludes, and you can make up your own mind whatever the you think of it, but here it is, courtesy of Stanford University and yours truly. And let's see, you should be able to hear. Would you move your fingers if you can hear?
Tidy and safe. Clearly all major concerns.
Okay, so let's watch this puppy go.
With the development of the mark and sweep garbage collector, it would seem that our problems are over. Requiring a known minimum of overhead in both time and space, we're guaranteed of collecting all unused consoles, no matter what they might be pointing at. As we observe a panorama of contented hackers typing enthusiastically away, we can relax in the confidence of having a dependable, robust garbage collector which will keep our world tidy and safe. Clearly all major concerns about garbage are alleviated, and there's nothing left for us to worry about. Or is there?
Oh no! No! Can't be. Not now. I've got a big show to go to tonight. No! What's wrong? Are you okay? Is there anything I can do? No, no. There's nothing anybody can do now. It's too late. Why? What is it? It's garbage collecting.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the sad truth of the matter is the very power of the mark and sweep garbage collector is its greatest weakness. It's a stop and collect algorithm, and that means it has to stop, possibly for a very long time. Excuse me, sir, but have you ever had garbage collector problems?
Have I had garbage collector problems? Why, I used to be the scanner operator on the USS Enterprise.
Yes?
One time we'd encountered some Klingons and engaged them in battle. We'd just gotten a phaser lock on their ship when...
Oh. I'm very sorry for you. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Have you ever had garbage collector problems?
What? Garbage collector? Yes, garbage collector. That's what I'm doing. I'm garbage collecting. Over 10 gigabytes in this database. President Nixon is waiting for the results of this database.
Yes, well, stop and collect algorithm has its uses. Sometimes we simply can't afford to wait. Sometimes we'd gladly give up both speed and space if only we knew we would never come to a complete halt. Sometimes we would give up our right pointer for a real-time dynamic garbage collector.
So that is the amusing interlude, which I just had so much fun doing, you can see. And I just can't believe that Stanford just said, sure, you could do it. Here's some money. Go work with the videography department. We'll give you, and just boom, and I could just do it all myself. And it was just so much fun. And the students loved it. And anyway, so I just wanted to show off. Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you
Maybe
so
I'll
much.
leave it at that.
Thank you so much for sharing that period piece. The computers, the immense computers alone takes me back to computer labs back in sixth, seventh grade. Holy hell.
That was 1987 when we shot that.
No kidding. Good Lord. Yeah, that would have been close. Wow, that is fun. Thank you so much for that. And I just got indication that Mr. Senor Generalissimo Brian Franco, or Monsieur Generalissimo Brian Franco, is here, is ready. So speak, sir.
Thank you. A brief history of human spirituality. Thousands of years ago, people were born with only one ear. The ear was created to replace a third eye. The gods or the spirits or Gaia decided humans having third eyes was a wasted privilege. There was no need for hearing when we had third eyes, but suddenly we were functionally blind and needed a new sense to keep us sensible. We heard birds that sang sweet songs, but some birds screeched like banshees. Wind, rain, and thunder became noises that forced us to stay in our caves. This new sense we possess held anxiety, something altogether new, something that confounded minds beyond the basic purpose of brains. Taking away our third eyes created psychology. Being able to hear the world around us created chaos. So the gods or the spirits or Gaia added an extra ear to balance our behavior. Of course, noses came next, which allowed us to understand we can stink. Then we opened our mouths to express our disgust, which led to speech, which led to language, which led to opinions, which led to trying to make sense of stuff that made no sense, which became belief. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Leader Franco. And up next, following the following the six poet commercial interruptions, let's welcome back Mr. John Wezick.
The SR-71 Blackbird cruised at 85,000 feet at a speed of Mach 3.2. A man in a pilot suit said while standing in front of the sleek jet, "This marvel of American freedom has a skin of titanium, a metal so strong it makes ironwood cry and sends carbon steel running for its mother. Titan brand napkin rings are forged from pure titanium. Never look weak at a dinner party again. By Titan." All right, Stephanie, who did you choose? Chet asked after the commercial. Bachelor number 2. First, let's meet the contestants you didn't choose. Bachelor number 1 earns his living driving a rideshare. Say hello to Jason Turnbuckle. Jason stepped out from behind the screen, shook Stephanie's hand, and pecked her on the cheek. Bachelor number 3 made a killing. Chet paused for Stephanie's reaction. In business. He's a multimillionaire who earned his riches in software. Say hello to Elliot Eprom. Elliot stepped out and handed Stephanie his fingernail clippings. Jason, Elliott, thanks for playing. In appreciation, each of you will receive a set of titanium napkin rings. Yes, Titan napkin rings are handcrafted from pure titanium and pair well with alveolar asbestos napkins. The rejected bachelors left. Are you excited to meet your date? Chet ignored Stephanie's head shakes. Bachelor number 2, come on out. Harley stepped around the screen and moved in for a kiss, but Stephanie turned away. Stephanie, let me introduce Harley Slaughter, also known as the Snake River Strangler. The two of you have won an all-expense-paid weekend on Baffin Island, where far from cell phone access, you can enjoy such activities as ice fishing, hockey, and taxidermy. Harley got Stephanie in a forearm choke. Hold on, buddy, Chet said. There'll be plenty of time for that later. A chastened Harley loosened his grip. And there's more, Chet told Harley. Stephanie Albright is in fact Detective Shannon Hardcopy from the NYPD Homicide Squad, and your date qualifies you for an extended stay at the Eleusis Correctional Facility paid for by the state of New York. In seconds, Detective Hardcopy reversed Harley's hold and manacled his hands. Tell Harley what he's won, Johnny. Located in Marathon County, the Eleusis Correctional Facility is best known for a prison riot that left 43 dead. As an inmate, you'll enjoy overcrowding, malnutrition, strip searches, and random beatings. Back to you, Chet. Well, that's it for tonight's shows. Stay tuned for Chemo Island, where pediatric cancer patients compete in a grueling triathlon to earn money for their treatment. This is Chet Carabiner wishing your next date will be a killer. There you go.
And
You're muted.
to quote the famous video game Smash TV, every time it introduced you to a new level, good luck. You'll beat it. Anyway, let's go to the person who, yes, he is the final person on the second round of the open mic. And I will and I'll let him go and take us home tonight. Thank you guys so much for your patience and helping me get started. And next week, you'll hopefully be here for Robert Fleming's first full-length Stone Soup feature. I consider he had a kind of a micro feature with when his friend came featured last year, but I should say literary partner from Forest Feathers Press. But for now, let us welcome up for one final go at it, Mr. James Van Looy.
Thanks, Chad. So this is a very short poem here called Martial Arts. And it actually refers to the reality is there are kind of two completely different training modes in the martial arts. The one perhaps being exemplified by karate, where you actually do the form with your muscles absolutely as hard as possible. And the opposite being Tai Chi, where your movements are very soft and you're using a minimum amount of energy to do a very long form. This is called martial arts. Hard and soft are really the same. Just two different ways we strays play that same old game. If you relax as you gently play, you'll have to work the same muscles that you huffed and puffed to bulge into a fit of veins and gorge corpuscles. Tense or slack, the body still divulges everything we really need to know and be, if only we can listen so quietly that we don't even feel or even see, but just become a lock to our own ki, which is spelled, of course, also Ki, or in Chinese, it would be Qi, which is sort of the internal energy. And here's an old song for you. You must leave now. Take what you need to think will last. But whatever you wish to keep you better, grab it fast. Yonder stands your orphan with his gun, crying like a fire in the sun. Look out, the saints are coming through. It's all over now, baby blue. The highway is for gamblers, better use your sense. Take what you have gathered from coincidence. The empty-handed painter from your streets is drawing crazy patterns on your sheet. The sky too is folding under you. It's all over now, baby blue. All your seasick sailors, they are rowing home. Your empty-handed armies are going home. Your lover who just walked out the door has taken all his blankets from the floor. The carpet too is moving under you. And it's all over now, baby blue. Leave your stepping stones behind you. There's something that calls for you. Forget the dead you've left. They will not follow you. The vagabond who's rapping at your door is standing in the clothes that you once wore. Strike another match, go start anew. And it's all over now, baby blue. So that's Bob Dylan, of course.
Thank you, James. Can't wait to see what 2004 is going to bring out of you. And thanks to everyone who came out tonight on a relatively short notice open mic. And I'll be putting up the information for Mr. Fleming, hopefully, if not later tonight, hopefully no later than tomorrow. And the news will spread. And I definitely want those JPEGs because I am cracking up at the sight of them in my head. And hopefully more features will be announced very shortly. So we'll do the obligatory wave. As I leave you from the site of Copley Square, which I am totally at. I gotta take more city shots, but thank you guys very much, and have yourselves an excellent evening and a good rest of the week. More poetry open mics will hopefully be announced. If you got one, definitely promote it on Stone Soup Poetry. Could be like this every week, guys. All we need is you, but more people, definitely invite them. More people are going to be hopefully be coming to the dance in the coming weeks. More to be announced later. Thank you so much, and take care. Show's over. See you next time.